The British Parliament realized that the company's interests in India were no longer merely commercial, and that it had assumed the character of a political and territorial power. To restrict the growing power of the company and illegal activities of its officials, the British Parliament made the first direct interference in the affairs of India by promulgating the Regulating Act in 1773. According to the Act, Warren Hastings, a long-time company official, became the first Governor-General of British India. Major changes were introduced in the administrative structure of the company, both in Britain and in India. In this chapter, we are going to study the following concepts: Annexation of Mysore, Annexation of the Maratha state and Punjab, British administration in India, 1773 to 1857. Annexation of the Maratha state, the First AngloMaratha War, 1775 to 1782. Four Maratha chiefs had established their independent states: Gaikwad of Baroda, Bhosle of Nagpur, Sindhia of Gwalior, and Holkars of Indore. The British took advantage of the internal conflicts within the Maratha clans. Peshwa Madhav Rao died in 1772 and was succeeded by his brother Narayan Rao. This worthy was killed by his uncle Raghunath Rao, who then declared himself Peshwa. The British also supported his claim, but the Marathas backed Narayan Rao's son Madhav Rao II. A civil war broke out. The Marathas, led by Nana Fadnavis, a great Maratha minister, fought against Raghunath Rao and his British allies and defeated them in 1779. The British had to sign humiliating Treaty of Vadgaon, by which they had to surrender all the territories acquired by the company since 1773. Warren Hastings, the Governor-General, attempted to retrieve the prestige of the company and sent a strong force which captured Surat in 1779 and Gwalior in 1780. The Treaty of Salbai in 1782 brought an end to the war. The treaty assured mutual restitution of each other's territories and guaranteed peace for 20 years. The company also recognized Madhav Rao II as the Peshwa. The Second Anglo-Maratha War, 1803 to 1805. Jaswant Rao Holkar of Indore defeated the combined forces of Daulat Rao Sindhia of Gwalior and Peshwa Baji Rao in 1802. Peshwa Baji Rao II fled to Bassein and sought the protection of the British. A treaty was signed in 1803 with the British, which provided them a legitimate right to interfere in the affairs of the Marathas. The British installed the Peshwa at Pune and drove out the Holkars. The Second Anglo-Maratha War, 1803 to 1805. Lord Wellesley, the Governor-General of India, now planned to bring the Maratha states under the subsidiary system. The Gaikwad were the first among Marathas to sign the subsidiary treaty with the British. Sindhia was forced to sign a treaty by which he ceded the Ganga Jamuna Doab, Ahmednagar and Bharoch. Bhosle accepted the overlordship of the British and gave up claims on Cuttack, Balasore and parts of the central provinces, now Madhya Pradesh. This war gave a severe blow to the power and prestige of the Marathas. Holkar still had not surrendered to the British and sought refuge in the court of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Sikh ruler of Punjab. The Third Anglo-Maratha War, 1817 to 1818. The last Maratha War was fought during the period when the Marquis of Hastings, also known as Lord Hastings, was the Governor-General. Peshwa Baji Rao II realized the mistake of making the Treaty of Bassein with the British. He decided to wage a war against the British with the help of other Maratha chiefs. Hastings came to know about it and forced the Peshwa to sign the Treaty of Pune in 1817, by which the Peshwa had to renounce the leadership of Maratha chiefs and had to surrender Konkan to the British. In the same way, Scindia was forced to sign a treaty at Gwalior in 1817 to help the British against the Pindaris. Bhosle had already signed a treaty in 1816. The Third Anglo-Maratha War, 1817 to 1818. In spite of signing treaties with the British, the Maratha chiefs were determined to make a last attempt to regain their independence. Under Peshwa Bajirao II, they declared war against the British and attacked and burned the residency at Kirki near Pune. But finally, Marathas were defeated in this third and last war against the British. The Peshwa was deported to Bithur near Kanpur. Bhosle and Holkar also surrendered and accepted the subsidiary alliance. Annexation of Punjab. The First Anglo-Sikh War, 1845 to 1846. In 1843, Dalip Singh, the youngest and only surviving son of Ranjit Singh, became the ruler under the protection of his mother, Rani Jindan. But real power remained with the army. The British were never great friends with the Sikhs, and the First Anglo-Sikh battle started when the Sikh army crossed the Satluj. Battles were fought at Mudki, Firozshah, and Sarbao, in which the British emerged victorious. For the next 2 years, the Punjab was a British protectorate. The British army occupied Lahore. The Treaty of Lahore, 1846, was forced on the Sikhs, in terms of which the British occupied Jalandhar Doab. The Sikh army was reduced in size, and the Sikhs had to pay for the maintenance of the British army. The Second AngloSikh War, 1848 to 1849. The Second Sikh War was triggered by a revolt of the Sikh chief, Diwan Mul Raj, the governor of Multan, in April 1848. Instead of suppressing the revolt, Lord Dalhousie, the then Governor-General, declared war against the Sikhs in October 1848. Battles were fought at Ramnagar, Chiliawala and Gujarat. The decisive battle was fought at Gujarat on February 15, 1849, in which the Sikhs were completely defeated. Lord Dalhousie annexed the Punjab to the British Empire. It was during this time that the famous Kohinoor was taken away and presented to Queen Victoria.